Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about the 4 steps to feeling full. When you feel full, weight loss is way easier. Almost happens on autopilot, as a matter of fact. So what are the 4 steps that it takes to actually feel full? We're going to start with number 1, which is really important, which is getting more sleep. The more sleep you get, the fuller you feel. There's a lot of reasons for this, but one of the simple ones to think about it is if you don't sleep enough and you wake up tired, your body is looking for quick energy and it will get it from unhealthy foods because your body knows that if I eat candy or processed food or things that spike my blood sugar, I'm going to get a boost of energy for a moment. And so the more sleep you get, it makes you feel fuller because you're well rested. And you get a little bonus step that when you sleep well, you think more clearly and it's easier to make the right choices anyways. Step number 2 is to drink more water. Remember, in most of history, we ate our water because we ate foods that had a way higher water content in them than we do now with processed foods. So a lot of times what you think is hunger is actually thirst. And so the more you manage your hydration levels to the optimal level, the more satisfied and full that you're going to feel, and it's easier to make the right food choices. The third thing is to relax, because when we get stressed, we start to feel hungry. And especially in this environment where we've learned to, been conditioned to use food as our main emotional management strategy, when we get stressed, it becomes easy to go towards the unhealthy food, and we literally feel hungrier. We feel hungrier when we get stressed, whether we're actually hungry or not. And the final piece, the fourth one, probably the most important of all of them, and it really replicates what a lot of the weight loss medicine's doing, is to start eating healthier, more natural foods. When you start increasing your whole natural food content and start nourishing your body with the micronutrients that exist within whole natural foods, you're going to satisfy that deep, deep hunger within you, because there's a good chance, living in America anyways, that you're overweight and undernourished. If you eat a lot of processed foods, you are not getting the micronutrients that your body absolutely requires and craves. And so your body is sending you a hunger signal because it thinks we're the natural environment where you're going to eat food, which is going to have micronutrients in it. So do these 4 things and you're going to feel a lot more satisfied. And when you feel satisfied, it's a lot easier to lose weight. So I hope this helps you out. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. Sorry for being a little late today. That's okay. I was late because I'm working on other stuff for you guys. What's up, Baja? Hi, Jim. Appreciate you and your work. I appreciate you, Baja. I appreciate your commitment and showing up. And it's an exciting ride we're on. So Baja's in the program, and she is an absolute joy working through it. But, Baja, and I say this to everyone, all my clients, especially my kind of clients I work with directly, is that it's always like a puzzle. You know what I mean? Like, it's always a puzzle. That's the way I always look at it. And we're trying to figure out which pieces are missing first. And then once we realize which pieces are missing or need to be fixed, then it's about fixing them, but it's always a puzzle of figuring it out. And I think that's important to recognize, because again, the diets, it's kind of a one note tune. You know what I mean? Basically everything's just willpower, And so the way I approach it, what I've seen work way better, is to take a step back and understand the situation first. And the more we understand it, the more granular detail we have, the easier it is to come up with real specific strategic solutions, as opposed to this one size fits all willpower solution. So I appreciate you saying that, Baja. And I appreciate you. Make sure I miss anything. All right. So I see. What's up, Vicky? How's it going? Yes, happy Tuesday. It's a nice morning. Afternoon here now. We're at 1 o'clock. What happened? I can tell you what happened. I was making more videos, so it took me a little longer than I expected, as it always does. E, what's up, E? He says, this week I was on a mission to find foods that I love. Still lost a pound because I still stuck to my structure. Yeah, that'll happen. The structure is the most beautiful thing. I tell you guys this all the time, because even myself, this is kind of news for me, but I'm so focused on the mindset piece. That's like my main focus. But over the years, what I created as well is I call it the eating blueprint. And a lot of my new clients are like, holy shit, the eating blueprint. It's like, this is amazing. And so, yeah, that's amazing too. But yeah, when you start structuring your eating, it's And it's not meal planning. Okay. I want to make that clear. Structured eating is kind of a philosophical thing. There's specifics to it as well, but it's a philosophy that we put into a specific format as well. So anyways, I think structuring your reading really is like that, that it gives you a little bit of space to experiment and think about things, while a lot of times you still are getting the results you want. Maybe not quite as fast as you want them, but you feel grounded. Usually you are still getting results moving forward, and you're making things better, So that's great. I'm glad to hear that. That makes me excited. Because that's what it's all about. What he's talking about there, it's again on this search for foods that you love. That's so much of it is that when you figure out the foods you love, and what's a food you love? I mean, it's a food that's going to help you achieve the weight that you want to live at, give you the health you want. It's relatively easy to prepare, and it's relatively enjoyable. These are the foods we love. New definition of foods we love, right? Where most people just define food they love by how it feels on their tongue, but we want to expand that. Again, we can still enjoy foods that feel good on our tongue, but we don't make that the only decision. We don't want that the only decision. Yari says, suggestion to stop stress eating in its tracks. Yeah, I mean, my answer to you though is the same answer to every emotional eating question, right? Because stress eating is just a sub emotion of emotional eating. So the answer is the same. The first question is I want to notice is, where's the stress eating showing up most commonly? It's probably not breakfast time. It's probably afternoon, evening time, I'm guessing. But we want to get specific. When's this thing showing up? We can't say, I want to get stressed. That's too vague. I guarantee you your stress eating has a pattern to it. So that's the first thing I want to know is I want to understand your stress eating pattern. Once I understand that, now I want to seek to prevent it more than I don't want to let the stress eating pattern run 95% of the way and then try and stop it. Right. That's what a lot of dieters make. And that's what happens when you rely on willpower. You think you're just going to catch yourself at the moment and then stop yourself. That's bullshit. I have a saying that I like to use that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of willpower. So the more you can prevent things, the less you need to rely on willpower and stopping yourself. And that sets you up for much longer lasting results. So I would want to recognize the different situations where the stress eating shows up. What's triggering it typically? Could be work, could be a relationship, could be no relationship, could be loneliness, could be any number of things, but we need to kind of dial down and figure out where's the stress. What are the top 3 situations stress eating shows up in? Friday night, Tuesday morning, or weekday evenings, again, where are they showing up? And then we can go deeper into it. Because there's no one suggestion. I mean, Jesus, I could even tell you to, go meditate and go sit in a hot tub every night, take a hot bath and meditate. You'll de-stress a bit, but the stress eating will still show up because it's anchored into you in a Pavlovian way. So yeah, we got to understand the pattern of it first. Leave my suggestion. What's up, Ronnie? Ronnie says, is there a reason to keep doing pleasure days if I feel like shit, even when I practice moderation? The more attuned I feel to my body, the more I have noticed how uncomfortable my body tends to feel. No, I think there's no, then don't do pleasure days. Oh, thanks, Anon. Send me some gummy bears. I like that. Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to do pleasure days, don't do them. I think that, again, the clean pleasure days, it was just part of the structured eating philosophy. It's a philosophy. It's a concept. I think over time, right, you might be real fired up now. So again, program yourself. Then we follow an all or something approach, not all or nothing, all or something. And so the all or something still has all in it. Okay. Meaning that, Ronnie's a young man. You might get real focused and motivated and just want to be all. Great. Be all. Okay. But when you feel like you can't be all anymore, remember there's something instead of nothing. And that's the big difference. But again, we're all going to get into moments where we all want to be all. So I don't want any pleasure days. I don't want any pleasure days. I just want to be clean. I just want to get my results. Fine. I ain't talking you out of that. I don't think that's going to last forever. I don't think it's going to last months, probably, which is fine in my world. But maybe you say, oh, Jim, you're wrong. I've been doing it for 10 years. I've been clean. Great. I applaud you. I couldn't do that. Wouldn't want to do that. But I'm not here to tell everyone what to do. Oh, shit. So, I think that you do what you want to do. Always do what you want to do anyways, really. Let's be honest. But yeah, so Ronnie, don't do pleasure days, you know? Even if moderating's feeling like shit, just feeling clean feels amazing, knock yourself out, you know? That's my answer to that. What's up, Jennifer? Jennifer says, really enjoying your podcast. So thankful I found it 1 week in and very beneficial. That's awesome. Yeah, I love when people find the podcast. I was realizing I don't even promote this thing enough. Sometimes I'm the dumbest businessman on the planet. I tell you that much. So dumb that I just found out today that you couldn't even get my program for the last 3 days. So, I was doing some work on the program in the back, fixing things up, and it broke the whole thing. I didn't realize it. So yeah. It's working now though. So if you're trying to get the program, you couldn't do it. It's all working now. And I apologize for that. So anyways. Yeah. Cass says, Ozempic or fasting? Does fasting also cause aging or Ozempic face? Yeah, I suppose that Ozempic face, from what I understand, that Ozempic face is caused because of like rapid weight loss. You know, I don't think the medicine itself is causing that, is my understanding. I could be totally wrong. I'm not a doctor or a scientist, but, you know, I think fast weight loss can sometimes do that, you know, and also the Ozempic face. I think a lot of times what they're referring to is people that aren't overweight to begin with that are taking it because they want to be like super skinny. So I think that could potentially lead to that as well. But I'm not an expert on Ozempic face. But between Ozempic or fasting, which would I take? I don't know. It just depends. I always say like I'm not against the weight loss medicines. I think they're really good if you don't have the time, energy, or desire to want to dedicate to your mindset, lifestyle, and eating, then knock yourself out, you know. But I think there's a better way, obviously. And in terms of fasting, I don't know how much fasting we're talking about. I get the impression that you're talking about long-term fast. I just get that feeling, and not even intermittent fast. And long-term fasting, I think it's a overcorrection for most people. I think it's a dramatic response that most people aren't going to stick with, that it's going to throw people off balance and ultimately cause more harm than good, has been what I've seen from people that try and do long-term fasts. Now, intermittent fasting is a little different, but not much, because people approach intermittent fasting like a dieter. And I think, you know, same problems occur, you know. So I don't know a real good answer for that, I suppose. I mean, I wouldn't want either of those, to be honest, because I'm all about living at your goal weight, not just getting there as fast as possible. And I know that's a little bit of a different goal than the average person, but we do things a little differently over here. Hey-yo, Hannon says, you helped me lose 15 kilograms. All right, let's take a screenshot of that. It's my new resolution to show these. Well, that's awesome, Hanan. Great job. 15 kilograms. Very impressive. Kathy says, I'm thinking about having supper at 7, then not eating until 9 next morning. Yeah, I think that's great. But what I would say, this is my message to all you intermittent fasters, because I use intermittent fasting, but I don't like to call it that, because that's not how I started. I started 30 years ago, and before intermittent fasting, I don't know when that came out. I know Dr. Fang there is the guy it's kind of linked to, but I started intermittent fasting 30 years ago. But the motivation was I wanted to stop eating. So like I used to eat right before I went to bed, basically. I'd eat right up until I went to bed. And so I wanted to make a bigger time frame when I wasn't eating before bed. And so I was like, I worked my way into it. And that's my big issue with intermittent fasting most of the time, is that people jump right into intermittent fasting, right? So you're jumping right into not eating for 16 hours. And I think for the average person, that's a lot. I think 7, you know, and again, I don't know what you've been doing, Kathy. So I don't know if you typically eat until 10 o'clock, you know what I mean? Like where you're starting from makes a big difference. And I think that, you know, and I always say this, you know, there's no right or wrong, there's only what works for you, but I'm a big believer that you should honor and appreciate yourself is the starting point of all of this. And I think that it's really key that you recognize your situation and who you are, and you build around that. So that being said, Kathy, I don't know enough about you or your situation to give a thumbs up or down to that plan, but I will say this. that regardless of what it's been, having supper at 7 and not eating till 9, I think sounds great. That sounds like a great goal. Okay. But you can phase your way into it. So let's just assume you eat at night. Okay. Let's just assume you eat till 10 o'clock. Let's just say, okay. You could test out, I'm just going to stop eating at 7, see what it's like. Right. And if you find it's difficult, I would want to have a plan B. And plan B for me would be, okay, I'll only eat fruit after 7 o'clock, or I'll only eat whole natural foods after 7 o'clock. Just as to have an alternative. I think a lot of people see everything as black and white and it has to be right now, and they overwhelm themselves. So again, I go for it, Kathy, but pay attention to how you feel about it. Is it overwhelming? Is it comfortable for you? That would kind of dictate where I went with it all. But I think, that's kind of my plan. I basically stop eating. Usually I'm done eating by about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. And I'm usually eating the next day by about 8 o'clock. So it's not too much. It's right in the ballpark. But I worked my way up to it. What a crazy idea, working your way up to something. Americans don't want to work their way up to shit. And it's always like this. I'm a yoga instructor, and I've been doing yoga for 30 years. But it's like the yoga I do is a very, very gentle yoga. But I've been doing yoga for 5, 6, 7 years when all of a sudden the Ashtanga stuff started coming around. And Ashtanga yoga or flow yoga or vinyasa yoga is an extremely advanced yoga. It's a very difficult, challenging yoga. It's a high level yoga. But of course, in America, right, that's what people start with. It's just like Americans in particular, it's just like are so impatient and just want, I'm going to do it now and do everything now. And it's like, I love the spirit. Like the spirit's great, but it's like, it usually leads to people feeling overwhelmed and overburdened and they can't keep up with it. And then they quit. So that's usually the result of most Americans' approach to things, And so again, I love the spirit. And if you can do it, knock yourself out. But if it doesn't work, say, that's okay. That was a big change to try and make all at once. Let's slow down. Let's be more strategic this time, so that's fine. You know what I mean? But I hope that works. What's up, Jonathan? I saw you there. Marcy. Hi, Jim. I'm working on my blueprint. Yeah, that's awesome, Marcy. I love to hear that. That blueprint's everything. The weight mastery blueprints are everything. Program yourself thin. I've always, originally it was a group thing. You only did it if you work with me. Then I was like, okay, the program's kicking ass. You can get it. You don't have to work with me. And we have it. There's the imprint, which is the daily hypnosis for 8 weeks. There's a program yourself thin technique, which is a 2-minute hypnosis technique you use on yourself. So you can take control of your own mindset and behavior. And then there's the weight mastery blueprints. Again, we follow the weight mastery pyramid, mindset, lifestyle, eating, and you get these fill in the blank blueprints to create your own customized strategies, mindset, lifestyle, and eating strategies that fit you like a glove to help you get to and then live at your goal weight for the rest of your life. So that's what Marcy's working on. And the beauty of these blueprints, Marcy, is that you will always have a way. Well, you're going to come up with great strategies that are custom made to you. So that part's important. The second part, though, is that you're going to always be able to diagnose challenges that are awaiting you. Okay. Because there's always challenges, but now you're going to have a much more refined ability to diagnose the challenges that you're facing. Are they eating, are they structured eating challenges? Is it a lifestyle issue? Is it a mindset issue? And if it's a mindset issue, again, we could break it down to 8, or 6 different categories. And it helps you. Is it motivation? Is it my habits? Is it the way I'm thinking of myself, my self-image? Is it my emotions getting the best of me? Is it my thinking? Is it my maintenance, my ability to stay on track? And you can dial it down. So Marcy, that work is so valuable. And it's working on the blueprints is work that serves you forever. Okay. So I want you to realize that there's no rush to get through them. Okay. Because there's something, I always think of the blueprints as a living, breathing document, that they're always something, you fill them out initially best you can, but then you go and live them and you optimize them. I'm still optimizing my blueprints 30 years down the path. Okay. And I will be optimizing for the next 100 years. All right. So great job, Marcy. Those blueprints really are the gift to keep on giving when it comes to your weight, health, and happiness, for sure. There's Jim. Jim says, Jim, I find it so hard to genuinely like healthy food. Yeah, of course. Folks, listen, if you've been eating a lot of processed foods, you're not going to like healthy food. Okay. Your taste buds have been corrupted. Your brain and neural wiring has been corrupted. Your body's been corrupted by the processed food. So yeah, you're most likely not going to like healthy food at the beginning. It's going to taste bland and boring. It's not going to be as exciting. And that's what it is. So, learning to like healthy food is a process. There's no instant loving healthy food. And it just takes a little while. And I see science now, I see studies out now that I see that yeah, anyways, sorry, I got distracted. So yeah, but I see studies now that the more, it seems there's something to the processed food as well, and especially the ultra processed food that literally wires you to not like healthy food. It's weird. I just read this in a book, The Magic Pill, and it was talking about this, and I haven't seen a lot of science on this. I was talking about this yesterday, and I think this is interesting stuff. I think that I was ruminating on the concept of a cigarette, and I was like, you should not think of a cigarette as a piece of paper with tobacco inside. You should think of a cigarette as a concept. Okay. So there's tobacco cigarettes, but there's food cigarettes, alcohol cigarettes, phone cigarettes. I think that's a better way to think about it, because there is a literal science of addiction that the cigarette companies follow. And the cigarette and the food companies are the exact same thing. Just so you know, Nabisco and RGR Reynolds are literally merged together as the same company. The parent company of Kraft and General Foods is Philip Morris. Okay. So these cigarette companies divested from cigarettes and went into food, and they follow the exact same playbook, that they're going to make the most addictive products possible. They're going to use the most aggressive marketing possible. And they're going to sit on the science. But literally, processed food is created in labs to be as addictive as humanly possible. And I think whatever the fuck they have done with this food, it rewires our brain and our body and our tongues in a way where the healthy food does not taste good to us. And I see that over and over and over again. And I think there's a science to what's going on that I can't articulate, but I believe it's there. And so starting to eat healthier foods is a process. You can't just make yourself do it. Just like if you want to play guitar, you can't just be a good guitar player just because you want to. So I say this to you guys all the time, especially you dieters. You've got such a short-term time frame that good luck. Good luck. I think if you are committed to being a dieter, you're going to be committed to being overweight for the rest of your life. That's how I see it, because this takes time and it takes consistent reinforcement of new things. And one of those new things is healthier foods. I'm in here 30 years, and this summer, I'm peaking out at an even higher level of enjoyment of natural foods. And it's only going to go higher. So yeah, Jim, you're not alone, and it's not a big deal. Just don't let that be the final say, though. You know what I mean? Like, people say, oh, I ate some healthy food, I don't like it. So what? So what? You don't have to eat it all the time. I call this in the program, we call this the living vitamin strategy. Okay. If you ever take vitamins or supplements, you don't take them because they taste good. You take them because you think they're good for you. You're never going to believe this, but you can actually use that same way of thinking with food. Everything you put in your fucking mouth doesn't have to be a celebration of flavor and excitement. You can actually make food choices based on, this is going to be good for my body. Did you know that? I know a lot of people don't know that. And when you start making decisions, I don't love this salad. I don't love the apple. I don't love the banana, but I know it's good for me. I don't fucking ever eat any healthy food. You know what? I'm going to eat a banana even though I don't love it. You can do that. As a human, you can do that. You can do things that you don't absolutely love. Oh, you might do it already, actually. Do you ever go to work when you don't feel like it? Do you ever take care of your kid when you just rather watch the show or just sleep? So we do these things all the time, and you can do it with food as well. Every fucking meal, everything you put in your mouth doesn't have to be a celebration of flavor and excitement. So I'm being a little sarcastic, but this just speaks to the point that if you're going to be an adult and you want to really master your weight and your health, yeah, you're probably going to eat some foods that aren't as exciting as other foods. I'd love to just eat pizza all day and sandwiches and chips and ice cream and cookies. But kind of joking. Kathy says, I sometimes do eat until 10. Yeah, Kathy. So again, it's not like, oh, here's the line. Here's the line in the sand. I used to eat till 10 here, and now I never eat past 7. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm saying to you guys. Cut that shit out. It's too much for you. You're trying to do too much all at once. So again, Kathy, if you were in the program, Kathy, are you in the program? I never know. I got to tell you, I'm not confused. My young men who aren't in the program, don't get in the program. It's not for you. But my women, my mature, wise, experienced women who are here all the time, oh, you're not in the program because I don't know. You know what I mean? Anyways, so this is where the clean pleasure days come in. Okay, so Kathy, maybe you start off 2-3 days a week. I'm not going to eat after 7, and if I'm really hungry, I can only eat fruit. Okay, and then the other days, just let it go. Depending on how hard it is for you. And then the next week, if it was easy, I'm gonna do 4 days this week. Cool. I'm gonna do 5 days this week. Do you know? Oh my God. Can you imagine what I'm saying, folks? Am I breaking your brains? It's called flexibility. Imagine being flexible with your weight loss. Can you imagine? I know that breaks your brain. Your diet brain is like, what's the most rigid thing in the universe? I would say a dieter's mindset. God, there's just no give. All or nothing, black or white. Jim, if I'm going to do it, I'm never going to eat after 7 again. And then the day you do eat at like 8:30, blew it. Everything was going so great. I had 3 days I didn't eat after 7. I fucking totally blew it now. Oh boy, am I ever going to get this? Oh, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Hey, Joey's here. You're welcome for my time. Joey, thanks for my time. You're welcome. I love giving you guys my time. I love helping out. Even if sometimes I kind of act like an asshole. I hear myself. Jim, stop it. Stop. Don't be this way. Don't be this way. What's up, Vicky? Vicky said I had pasta on my pleasure day and didn't go gonzo, structured and planned. Aiming for pasta once a week or every 2 weeks. Yeah, Vicky, that's great. I eat pasta once a week pretty much, planned out, Occasionally there'll be pasta a second time, but I've gotten control over that now too. But yeah, pasta is like my favorite, probably one of my favorite foods. I used to eat pasta my mom's the only person, you might go to dinner at her house and you might get 2 pastas. She might make you 2 types of pastas for dinner. My mom loves pasta more than anyone I know. And that's how I grew up. I love pasta, love the breads, all the rest of it. But if we eat pasta every night, it's hard to control my weight. So pasta becomes a once a week thing. And that's all worked out beautifully, So I'm so happy for you, Vicky, though. Vicky is a Weight Watchers lifetime member. So she's in the program and she started it with a lot of experience and success. And it's so much fun to watch Vicky really elevate to new levels. It's really fun. And being able to have pasta that you really enjoy as part of your life now and being able to control your weight, to me, is the reason I do this. Because it's not enough just to be at your goal weight, folks. You may not believe this, but your goal weight, just being at a goal weight is not enough motivation. I don't know why you don't believe this. How do you think living at your goal weight is going to be enough? Why do you think you're not there? If it was. Nur, I see you there. Hey, Jim, when coaching women who have been through sexual trauma, what have been the most efficient strategies and mindset shifts? Well, that's a hard question to answer in general. But unfortunately, I've had more than I would want to experience with that. So it's hard for me to, I like to answer questions like this in specificity, know the specificness of it, and then kind of answer it that way. So I will pull back and kind of give you a generalized answer though, because I don't know the specifics and this isn't the place to find out about them. But what I would say in general is I think sometimes and this is really for women here primarily, if you've ever experienced any sort of sexual trauma, anywhere on the scale, anything that could be related to sexual trauma, anywhere on the scale of it, I think one thing you want to be on the lookout for is, am I using the weight as a way to protect myself from that type of thing happening again? I see this as being a very, very common thing with women, that and sexual trauma doesn't even have to be present, by the way. Okay. So it doesn't even have to become to that level of sexual trauma. It can just be a woman in this environment, in this society. It's not hard to come up with the idea that I don't want this attention. And so I will put extra weight on to protect myself from it. So I think that's where I start off with it. And so, Neuro, that's what I would suggest is reflect on that for yourself. In any way, did you make a decision that I'm going to be overweight so I can keep myself safe and secure? That's a common decision a lot of women make without realizing it. So what's the solution if the answer is yes? I think the answer is to realize, to really lean on your wisdom and intelligence. The fact that you hopefully are smarter, wiser, more experienced now, and that you can protect yourself in other ways. And I'm not going to go into what those ways may be, but I want you to kind of lean on that. If the answer is yes, I'm using the weight to keep myself safe from men. If that's the answer, the question becomes, what other ways could I keep myself safe? How could I live at my goal weight and keep myself safe? How do women that are at their goal weight stay safe? I would begin asking these questions and I begin reflecting on them, and then reflect on that stuff, then get back to me. Okay. Rashi says, how to stop eating sugar. It is very difficult to stop. Yeah, of course it's difficult to stop. It's a drug. You know what I mean? It's a refined, concentrated drug. It's the closest thing food wise to cocaine. So yeah, it's a challenge, but the truth is you don't need to stop. And I think that's where the problems really start for most people, is in your mind. If you're doing the classic diet or all or nothing thing, and you think the solution is that you can never eat sugar again, good luck. Good luck to you. I think it's not going to work for you. I think what's much better, and this may sound, I know you don't believe this because you're an all or nothing thinker, but I found what works way better with sugar is to moderate it. And I think the moderation of sugar starts by really exploring it. What is sugar doing to you? You don't know, most likely. The way you think about sugar, if you're just of the world, is you just think of it as it's kind of this benign, it's childlike, it's fun, it's exciting. Not the greatest for me, but it's fun, it's excitement. All my favorite, I love it. You got a sweet tooth, you know? And so if that's how you think about it, good luck, you know? So you got to change the way you think about sugar. And it doesn't take much. Just look at what sugar does to you within the first half hour of ingesting it. Look what it does to you when you chronically ingest high amounts of sugar. And that's a starting point to change your behavior with it. And then I think it's, what's the goal? I'm never going to eat sugar again. Yeah, I don't believe you. And so the next one becomes, how can I moderate it more? And I think that's not as hard as people make it sound. I know, well, I can't do it. I tried moderating. Yeah, because you fucking ain't clue. You don't know how to moderate stuff. You have no idea how to moderate stuff. If you're a dieter, you don't know how to moderate anything. You know how to cut things out completely. I'm sugar-free. Jim, I mean, it's 4 days with no sugar. You know, who gives a shit? You're freaking out. You're white knuckling. It's not a long-term strategy. So when you change the way you think about it, and you make strategic shifts to your sugar consumption and start to work it down, you probably don't have to. Oh, come on. Why do I stop asking me about goddamn sugar? Because then I have to say cocaine and then they always restrict me. Why do I keep doing that? I'm not talking about sugar anymore. It's not the sugar, it's the drugs. Herna says, I can't hear you. I don't know. Can anyone else hear me on Instagram? They restrict me too. They're restricted on everything. Nimki says, hi, Jim, I have PCOS. What can you recommend for me to effectively lose weight? You can have PCOS and still lose weight. It just comes down to a calorie deficit. It may be a little slower with you, so, take that into account. But again, I think the main thing for when you have any sort of physical challenge, PCOS, Hashimoto's, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, menopause, I think the other thing you really got to focus in on is your lifestyle. Okay. So focus in on your lifestyle. And, because the PCOS and all those other things I mentioned affect you physically negatively. And so we can affect ourselves positively with our lifestyle and mitigate a lot of those issues. And obviously the food piece of it is not just cutting calories as well, but it's improving the calories, right? It's making them healthier, more natural, whole foods, and do both of those things. And you can absolutely lose weight. I've worked with people with PCOS and they lose weight. When you reduce calories over time, you're going to lose weight, PCOS or not. Okay. So don't believe. So that's the first thing, I guess, too, is change that belief. Don't think that because you have PCOS, you can't lose weight. You can. All right. Whoops, shit. I just hit a button by accident. Mario says, is there something you would never eat, even on pleasure days? I mean, yeah, there's lots of things I'd never eat. I mean, I'm a vegetarian, so that doesn't seem fair, right? I don't eat meat. You know, I don't eat land animals. I eat sea animals here and there. I don't eat meat, but okay, what would I never eat? I would never eat, like, I'd never eat fast food, really. And I ate fast food a couple months ago. I had fast food. I went to Shake Shack because they got veggie burgers now. And I've eaten Burger King. I had a veggie burger there, and I think it's all disgusting. So I don't like fast food, not that fast food anyways. So I don't really like fast food. I don't really like a lot of processed food. So I virtually never eat like ultra processed foods. I got my things. Like I said, I'll eat chipwiches. But I've just found I really have lost, it's like where Jim was just here saying, healthy food doesn't taste that good to me. Yeah, well, ultra processed food doesn't taste that good to me. Fast food doesn't taste that good to me because I know what I'm eating. You all don't. I read this shit all the time. I'm reading this book, Swallow This, and it's like, oh my, I'm loving this book. I can't wait to talk about it. I do lessons on books now, which I might make available just on my YouTube channel. But once you start to see what it is, it just changes a lot, So yeah, a lot of ultra processed food, I'm not really eating much. Don't really have much of a flavor for that. And yet I do eat some of it. You know what I mean? So I'm not sitting here saying I never, ever, ever eat it, but I don't really like to eat it very much. And I don't really have much of a taste for it. And I have less and less as I keep moving forward. So, all right, says, Jim, why did I binge second day in a row? I feel helpless now. Isn't that crazy how quick that can change? It's nuts. That's that negativity bias. I think that all the time. I tell my clients this all the time. And you got to watch out for that negativity bias, because if you don't know about your negativity bias, what a cruel world it is. The negativity bias is simply that we're wired, and there's no getting away from. There's no changing this. I don't give a shit if you think you're the most optimistic person in the world. You're not changing this. This is how we all are. Is that negative things are more impactful and meaningful to us than the positive things. And so Mario could be down 35 pounds and have been eating well for 6 months, have 2 days of binging and totally feel like that's it. So that's always something we got to kind of mitigate and work with. Your brain is constantly fixated on the negative stuff. And as you can imagine, that it's difficult to keep going and stay motivated when you always feel like you're failing with every little mistake you make. So dealing with that is job number one of Program Yourself. Then I try to put you in a cocoon to fill your head with positive stuff so you can handle setbacks and little mistakes you make. But for you, Mario, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you did it. You know what I mean? Like, I see, like if you're in the program, you learn the redo technique, and you would have yesterday used the redo technique on the binge, and you would have learned something, grown from it, and most likely you wouldn't have done it today. And then if you did it again today, you would have done the exact same thing, and you will learn something really important about why that happened. And so the brain gives up pain for learning, but most people, when they binge or make a eating mistake, they ain't learning shit. They're just feeling like shit about themselves. And it just starts the whole cycle, the whole downward spiral. So learning is a core part of weight mastery. I think it's the most important thing. You see, dieters, you think the secret to success in a dieter's mind is that they're going to be perfect. They're going to be perfect until they get to their goal weight. The secret of success in my mind is that you're going to learn from your mistakes. And oh yes, you're going to make fucking mistakes. There's no not making mistakes. You crazy dieters have convinced yourself that that's the solution, that you're just going to be perfect. And I think that's the biggest crock of shit ever. And so in Program Yourself, then what we get really good at is how to recover and learn from mistakes quickly, so that when we binge or screw up, it's not a big deal, because it's not a big deal if you learn from it. If you don't learn from it, it's a big deal because it becomes the beginning of the end for you. Yeah, Jody says the 61 different names for sugar was eye-opening. Wow, great email to make us aware. Now, Jody is in the program, but she's referring to an email I send out for free, which I should let you all know. If you are not part of my world, go to my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session I give you. It's free. And then watch the video I made for you. It's free. And then read the emails I send you every day. They're free. They're really fucking good. Wouldn't you like to know the 61 names of sugar? Speaking of sugar, what if you don't know the 61 names of sugar? If you don't know the 61 names of sugar and I do, who do you think is going to have an easier time controlling their weight? I just know more. That's why you could take my brain, put in any overweight person's body. We're going to instantly start losing weight. I know too much about food. I know too much about how to change my behaviors. I know too much about how to think like a thin and healthy person. The most frustrating part, dude, they got you guys all entranced as dieters. You guys are all walking around. You dieters are walking around like trance zombies, and you think, what do you think? What do you think's between you now and you living at your goal weight? Some magical amount of willpower that you're going to be able to tap into? You approach this shit completely wrong. You can learn all this stuff. You never think of it. I always say this, like if you want to be a plumber, you go to plumbing school and you learn how to be a plumber. You want to be an accountant, even though you're bad with numbers, you go to accounting school and you go through it, you end up the other end being a fucking accountant. You want to learn how to master your weight, you learn the different aspects of mastering your weight, and you end up on the other side mastering your weight. But you as a dieter, you're just always winging it. Always winging it. Always in such a rush and always just winging it. I was thinking, that's what I meant to write. I want to make a video about Hail Marys. Do you guys know what a Hail Mary is in football? You know what a Hail Mary is in football, right? So it's like it's the end of the game and, the team's on their 20-yard line. They got to go 80 yards to get a touchdown. And they got 1 second left. They snap the ball and the guy just heaves it down the field as far as he can, hoping that miraculously their team will catch the ball and they'll score a touchdown and win the game. Well, if you're a dieter, that's you. That's how you're trying. That's your approach to losing weight. You're Hail Marying it every time. Just hope it works. Do all your lucky stuff. Rub a rabbit foot. I don't want to look. I hope it works. I hope keto works this time. I hope I'm able to keep it at 1,200 calories this time for forever. Whatever it is, But once you learn stuff, it's different. Verona says, how to feed mental hunger rather than physical. Well, it's kind of just expanding on what I'm talking about. Yeah, Vicky said the Immaculate Reception. That's right. The Immaculate Reception. Is that the most famous one? I think Doug Flutie had one too. But yeah, the Immaculate Reception, right? That's what you guys are all waiting for, is some like literal miracle. But yeah, how to feed the mental hunger rather than physical. I kind of have like a sense of what you may be asking with that, but I would want you to ask that question more specifically. What do you mean by mental hunger? And I have a sense of what you're talking about, and everything I do in Program Yourself Thin is built around the mental side of things. So again, mental cravings. How do you deal with mental cravings? You don't feed mental cravings, you prevent them, if that makes sense. And it probably doesn't, but anyways, Mary said, oh shit. Mary said, oops. Mary says, yep, so true. No one thinks that. So we grow up and do what's good for you. Yep. A celebration of flavor. I like that way of explaining it. Yes. Answer my question, please. Mature, wise woman here. Yes, Baja. Absolutely. What are pleasure days? Pleasure days are days where you eat for pleasure, where you eat fun foods, foods that bring you the most pleasure. And I call it pleasure days because I'm saying that in a triggering way, because you think that you know how to eat for pleasure. Imagine you don't even know how to eat for pleasure. Imagine that. You said, Jim, now you've gone too far. Oh, I know how to eat for pleasure, Jim. Do you? Do you know how to eat for pleasure, or do you know how to stuff yourself silly? Because there's a difference, isn't there? How can you get the most pleasure possible out of food? Think of your favorite food and then imagine eating it at your goal weight. Could there be anything in the world more pleasurable? Again, you all don't even know what pleasure and food is. You've been conditioned by the food industry. You guys are all little puppets. Little puppets. Oh no, Mario says, oh, LOL, I don't know how I did it either. See, Mario? But I appreciate you saying that, because I think that's what most dieters are very superstitious, and they're losing weight like this. I'm just going to try not to eat it. I'm not going to eat that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do, oh, just please God, let me lose some weight. Please, please, please. And you lose some weight. And then it's all so teetery. You're just so unbalanced. You have no foundation under you. One binge makes you feel like everything lost. You know, that's what I'm saying, Mario. Mario, I don't know. This is, I can only say what I can say. You know what I mean? But this is exactly why I set up Program Yourself Thin, because with Program Yourself Thin, we have a foundation under us. So it's like if you screw up, we go back to the foundation. Oh, I don't know. I'm not in the mood to explain this program from the beginning, but it's crazy though. Mario, how much weight you lose? 30 pounds, let's just say. But Mario lost 30 pounds even though he did it. And that's the truth for all you dieters. That's why you all get mad when I say, what are you going to do when you get to your goal weight? I don't want to talk about that, Jim. Well, I don't want to talk about that. I just want to get there. Okay, well, what are you doing? How are you doing it? I'm doing keto. How are you staying motivated? I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. You're going to jinx it. You're going to screw it up. You know, dieters are so superstitious and nervous. That was a joke. I mean, you can blow a dieter off their path. It's so easy to blow. Oh. It takes nothing. It takes hardly anything to blow a dieter off their path. Because you got no strategy to get back on track. You got no firm foundation underneath you. What's your definition of binge when you speak on it? I don't know if you're asking Mario. I'd love to know Mario's definition of binge, because Mario uses catastrophic language a lot. So I would like to know what he means by binge, although I know he could probably put some food away too. But when I use binge, I have a very loose definition of binge that's relative to the person I'm speaking with, right? Because binge is a relative term. You know, it's very important to understand that too. Everything's relative anyways, but there's no absolute definition of binge, although maybe there is somewhere in one of them, the diagnostic manual there. But binge is relative to the person. So, which is why we have clean and pleasure days, because we use the reality of relativity for our benefit. Jonathan says, what do you think about Bloom? Seems like whole TikTok is sponsoring it. Sorry, Ash, yesterday you didn't notice. Oh yeah, I didn't see it yesterday. What's Bloom? I don't even know. Is it the, oh, Bloom Nutrition? Let's see. Oh yeah, Bloom. You're right. You're right when you say that, because I seen that shit. I don't feel like I see that shit on Reddit all the time. Reddit's just been overtaken by the weight loss medicine. Bloom, and I see, is it called Hers, I think? And it's like, it's a semaglutide, maybe a tablet or something. I don't know. Bloom Nutrition supplements. Oh, made with a high quality. Oh, hand-picked ingredients? They were hand-picked? Oh, man. I didn't know about that. No nasty side effects? Man, hand-picked ingredients. That's pretty good. Because, you know, when it comes to ingredients, the best ingredients are the ones that are hand-picked. I love marketing. Does Bloom make you lose weight? Let's look real quick. There's no scientific evidence. Oh, well. But it does have hand-picked ingredients. What's that mean? Someone like the person who created Bloom was like pointing at an ingredient list, or they put ingredients on the table and the person went out to the field and they handpick all of these actual ingredients. I know a little about marketing. I think it's bullshit. There's no shortcuts. There's no fucking shortcuts. There's no shortcuts. Program Yourself isn't a shortcut. It's a way. You know the difference? It's like college. College ain't a shortcut. You know what I mean? It's just the way. If you want to learn something, you go to college and you learn it. And that's what Program Yourself Thin is. So people that want shortcuts to stuff, I hope they stay 100 miles away from Program Yourself Thin. Except for the hypnosis thing. I told you, I gave up on that. I know, whatever. I don't care. People just you want me to make you lose weight? I can do that. I can't help it. I can't just master your weight for you. I can't do that. But I can make you lose weight. If you'll put my audios on every day and listen to them in the morning, I'll make you lose weight. And you don't have to know shit. You don't have to do anything. You just got to listen to them for 5 minutes a day. That's about the only shortcut I can imagine. So, yeah. I don't know, Bloom. I don't even give it my attention anymore. I'm just tired of it. No supplement's going to help you. I'm not going to say it can't help you, but it's bullshit. They're just preying on your lazinesses. What's up, Claudia? Sometimes I compare myself with others. It hurts a little. Yeah, of course. We all compare ourselves to others. And my greatest, I love the quote that comparison is the thief of joy. You know, I found that so much in my life that I could just be so excited about something and I can feel instantly just as shitty when I compare to someone else who I think is doing better or I'm not as good as or whatever. So there's no way around that other than just to realize that and stop comparing yourself, because who gives a shit though? You know, who gives a shit what other people are doing? Because A, you don't even know what is really going on, but B, you're you. So who cares? Oh, I lost 2 pounds this week, but my neighbor lost 5. So now I feel like a shit. I say it all the time. And that's the fastest way to fail, I think. I think the more you compare yourself to others, it's a great strategy to feel like a failure no matter how successful you are. Because there's always someone more successful. Always someone got faster results, you know? So again, it just is what it is, Claudia. It's just a reality of life. I don't know what there's to do with that. Boy, they're going to ban my account. I would get restricted every time I go on now. I get multiple restrictions now. But because I talk about, well, I could say it now. I talk about drugs because people ask me about sugar. And what do you think sugar is? Why do you think sugar is not like cocaine? I don't know. What's up? E says, Jim, is the turnaround from pleasure day to structured meals is the deep soul cravings I get for my structured meals, all pun intended. Jim, is the turnaround from pleasure days to structured meals the deep soul cravings I get? Yeah, that's perfect, actually. I know what you're saying because that's how I feel. And I feel that way. Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. You're never going to imagine this. And program yourself then, because we structure our eating and we structure it around you. I don't just give you a meal plan. I don't give you a meal plan because I don't fucking know you. How am I going to tell you what to eat? You ever thought about that? You ever thought how weird it is that you're just going to start a diet and just eat what someone told you to eat? Like, would you just listen to music someone told you to listen to, or watch types of movies that someone told you to watch, or wear clothes that someone hey, wear this? Like, would you live your life that way? But you're just going to let someone tell you how to eat? It's just the height of not honoring yourself, not believing yourself, not trusting yourself. So when you start structuring your food around what you like to eat and what works for you, yeah, you know what happens is you go to your pleasure days, or you go on vacation, or you go away or whatever, you get off track. And then you know what happens? You can't wait to get back on track. When's the last time you couldn't wait to get back on your keto plan? You couldn't wait to get back on Weight Watchers? Never. And that's the difference. Great job, E. That's a good sign. That's a good sign that because what happens is you get addicted to nourishing your body. You get addicted to feeling energized and alive and healthy and happy with yourself. You know, you don't realize that. I say this shit all the time, but never mind the fucking weight and how you look. How about how you feel day in and day out? Because you're basically living in a perpetual hangover. You're not thinking of the food like alcohol, but you should, because the food is keeping you in a perpetual hangover. Never mind the weight. It's zapping your energy. Mentally, you feel like shit about yourself. Emotionally, you just feel lots of negative emotions. You know? I know what you meant, E. Because that's exactly what I meant. Can't wait to get back to my meals. I know. Because that's my clients end up. That's how I am. And I love getting off track. I'll be away next week. I'll be off track. And then I'm not as off track as I used to be either when I go on it, because I don't like to get as far off track anymore. So next week I'll bring my smoothie maker and I'll drink smoothies all next week. I'll be bringing my farm share stuff down. I want it. That's my favorite part of this process is I enjoy and love and want and crave healthy food more and more and more and more and more. And it's exciting because I just keep feeling better and better and better, you know, but that's not how you describe your eating when you're on a diet. It's all misery and deprivation and what you can't do. And, you know, that's the difference. Myra says, it sounds insane, but even without being in your program, with just being in these lives, I lost around 40 pounds. Yeah. I'll take a screenshot of that though. I like the old. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I help people that listen to the podcast. I get people all the time telling me all they do is listen to the podcast. I help them lose weight. That's my goal here. I tell you this, my mission is to help as many people as possible with their goal weight. They say, well, why don't you just give the program away for free, Jim? Because people that get the program for free don't use it. They don't value it. I've done this. So I give the podcast away for free. And Mario puts the work in. You're paying with your time and your energy and your focus and attention, Mario. That's why all the things that allow you to lose 40 pounds. Obviously the program is just a whole nother level of commitment though. And so I'm not going to give you the program because you're not going to use it. And that's the most fucking irritating thing on the planet for me. So whatever. The program is $300. I was going to talk too, I keep meaning to do this. I just have a little note because I keep forgetting this. But I was going to talk about investing in yourself because you've been conditioned to not invest in yourself in helpful ways. Now you invest in yourself by buying shitty food, going to the movies, streaming services, your phone, clothes, bullshit. But you investing actually in yourself to do something that's really going to support you in your life, what do you invest in? Gym membership, maybe? What do you invest in as an adult? What are you investing in yourself? And that's why, to be honest, and I do it because I want to help as many people as possible, to charge $300 for my program, it's annoying to me because I want, you gotta understand, people pay me 25 grand to work with me privately at this point. For years, people pay me 5 grand to work with me. People pay $1,000 now to work with me in my group. So it's like money's relative, investment and commitment's relative. But I put it at 300 because I said I want as many people as possible. I understand financial stress too. I know what it's like to be broke, no money, stressed. So I said I'm going to make it reasonable. But people that have $300 comfortably but won't do it, to you, I say you got to reflect on that. You've been conditioned not to invest in your health. I always remember Saturday Night Live did this skit where they had a Vitamix and the person bought it. And the whole skit and the joke was that they were embarrassed that the blender was like $500. That was the whole joke of this. She didn't want to say how much it was. That was the whole skit. And I was like, wow, doesn't that sum it all up in a nutshell? Here in America, where we spend money on every sort of dumb shit we can think of. And yet to spend $400 on a Vitamix that's going to last a lifetime and give you a lifetime of health, that's the joke. It's bizarro world. And so people that would spend $300, what are you going to spend on your fucking phone for the next 3 months? How much are you going to spend on shitty food in the next 2 months? You're going to spend well over $300, I bet. When you take into account you're going out to eat, your takeaway, your junk food, your convenience store purchases. I bet you spend well over $300 in the next 2 months just on that. And so to that person, I say, yeah, you know what I mean? Don't do it anyways. You're not committed. But it's a weird thing, and I always think this too, because we listen, it's America, money talks, bullshit walks. How much are you investing in your weight and your health and your happiness? Give me a dollar amount. What are you investing in right now? Give me some numbers for real. What are you investing in the last year? Let's say, what have you put down to invest into yourself and something that's going to make you healthier, happier, slimmer, look the way you want, feel the way you want? How much have you invested? What did you invest in? Won't be surprised to get nothings. Jesse says, factual, can't imagine going back to the dark place I was in physically. Yes, it's no longer a diet for me. It's a great lifestyle. Yes. That's what we're aiming at. And that's what everything's modeled after. Successful people that have turned this into a lifestyle. Okay, Karen says, here we go, though. Now, this is really interesting to me. Karen, $2,000 since January. On what? A walking pad. All right, a walking pad. What do you spend $2,000 on? Is that since January? Let me think. Okay, Marcy's paying a coach $250 a month. There we go. So I can respect that, right? Because that makes it more serious. And Marcy's in my program. Yeah, okay. So the $2,000 since January was for an injection, right? And so I get it because you say, well, Jim, yeah, but the injection's going to work. The surgery's going to work. I don't know if your program's going to work. That's fair because you're thinking of like a diet. So I understand that, and that's up to me to have to show you, that it works if you invest the time and the energy and the focus into it, which is why I can guarantee it anyways. Because I know that walking pad, if you don't lose any weight in 3 months from it, you're not getting your money back. But again, there's the $248 walking pad, and I respect that investment, but think about how much would you invest to change what's up in here? Because the walking pad's great. Don't get me wrong. But let's be honest, the walking pad will get used for the first month. And then what happens? Your normal routine kicks in and then you stop walking on it. This is why program yourself. Then one of the key parts of the program is that every day you get a message on your phone. It's to listen to a 5-minute hypnosis session. Why do I do that? Because I'm looking to change your behavior in a really simple, subtle way that's profoundly impactful. Because consistency is more important than intensity. You go walk on your walk-in pad for 2 weeks straight, perfectly, every day, half an hour, and then never again. So I know the hardest thing in the world is stay consistent past a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But if it's a 5-minute session, it's a lot easier to do because it's calming, it's relaxing, it's centering, you get addicted to it. And then you keep it up. And now all of a sudden you're starting your day doing something different. It starts to, in your mind, you start to think of yourself as a different person. That leads to different behaviors. Oh man, Karen, you are a unicorn. Great job, Karen. Karen's been doing it 220 days, So for Karen, I applaud. Karen, again, is the one person. Okay, Claudia, since I started watching your lives, I've invested in swimming and then healthy food. I love hearing that. Healthy food. So never mind my program. Fuck my program. Just invest in healthy food. But what happens when you think about getting healthy food? Don't tell me you don't get this subconscious feeling of, I don't know. That's a lot of money for that. That's a lot of money. Right? And then right after that, you go and spend 3 times that for chips, ice cream, cookies, bullshit. You've been wired wrong. But, honestly, one of the best things in the world for me is, geez, Marcy, I'll tell you one thing, Marcy. I hope your coach is good. I'm not saying a coach. I'm not trying to poach coaching clients. I am not doing that. What I am going to say, though, is that if you end up not getting the results of that coach, because there's no better weight mastery coach on the planet than me. I can honestly say that. Not just because I'm probably one of the most expensive ones on the planet, but because literally one of a kind. But so if you're not getting the results you ultimately want to get, Marcy, you should think about joining the Program Yourself Thin group. And you get to coach with me directly. But anyways, again, I'm not here to poach clients. I'm not doing that. But great job, Karen. I'm impressed. Okay, she invested in herself and she stuck with it. And I think Karen has invested the most amount of money out of everyone here, and she's stuck with it the most. At least the people that have responded. And I find that does tend to be a pattern, that the more you invest in something, the more you show up. I mean, you got to know my best clients are the ones that pay me 25 grand, right? Followed by the clients that used to pay me 5 grand. So it's really, again, and there's also people that do the podcast, just watch podcasts and succeed too. So I'm not saying you have to have money to lose weight. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when you invest in something, you usually meet it at a higher level, and a lot of people are not investing in things, not investing in the most important thing there is to invest in themselves in. Yeah. Karen says, however, being constantly derided by folks who say I would never pay for injections. You're correct. Yeah, most will pay for everything except health. Exactly. This is what I'm trying to say. And at the end of the day, your health, your happiness, your weight, who you are as a person is the central foundation of living a life that's truly the most pleasurable and enjoyable. And a lot of times you're investing in things that you're trying to fill in that hole, and they don't. They just distract you to what the core problem is. That's why I think the more you focus on this core problem and investing in solving it is the real answer to so many areas of your life. You know? He says, better to conquer thyself than to win 1,000 wars. Buddha, this quote keeps me addicted to listening and tweaking my inner thoughts. PYT is my crutch during weak moments. Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's there for. You know, I mean, you and again, I'm not saying a real situation, a support network and system, you know, and I think that again, when you take a step back and reflect on why you're not losing weight, how could you invest in yourself to fix those things? And a lot of people don't look at it that way. And it's one of the reasons why you just think like you should be able to do it, right? Other things you invest in, and it makes sense. I find it odd. You know, you could search like weight loss coach, and that's something that it won't get a lot of hits. But then if you search like golf coach, it is 1 million hits. You know, business coach, 1 million hits. Relationship coach, 1 million hits. Parenting coach, 1 million hits. You know, and weight loss, you've been conditioned to think it's just something you should be able to do on your own. And if you can't, then you're a loser. And if you need help, well, I don't need help. I know what to do. I just got to do it. It's all bullshit. You know, again, it's all part of the programming, you know, and I'm not saying you got to invest with me, but I'm saying once you invest, you're on another level. You take it more seriously. Tell me you don't take things you've invested in more seriously in your life. I mean, that'd be a crazy thing to say. My walking pad has suffered on this live. Yeah, Jacqueline's back on it though. That's good though. Good. What do you think about oatmeal? I think oatmeal is good. I mean, be careful where you're getting it from. They're starting to say about like the Quaker oats, it's got bullshit on it, but just get whole natural oats. Get again, invest in your health. Pay that little extra money for the healthy natural food. It's not an investment that costs you more anyways, because when you start investing in healthier natural foods, they tend to have more micronutrients and satiety that go with them. So yeah, oatmeal I think is good. Steel cut oats are ideal. Natural oats that you prepare yourself are better. And then instant oatmeal's at the bottom there. Oh, good. Great job, Marcy. Yeah. The group of coaches very much in line with your message. Yeah. Yeah. Finding you in the missing hypnosis, the missing piece I was missing. Sure. That's awesome, Marcy. Yeah, Marcy, when I get back, I'll give you what I'll do, Marcy, just because I love doing this. It's just one of my things that brings me joy in life is people that have been in a weight loss coaching situation, whether it's a group or privately. I'll give you a week access to the group coaching calls. And just so you can see what's out there. I've never done this and someone been like, it was pretty good, Jim, but my other coaching's better. I've never had that. So I would love to find that out because I'm always open to learning from other people. Never had that. So yeah, when I get back, Marcy, shoot me a message and I'll get you a week. You can test it out. LOL Bing Bing says, how do I stop thinking about food? Like I can eat healthy, oil-free, etc., but I just can't control portion and food is on my mind all the time. I think there's a couple of ways to deal with this, but one of my favorites is to don't stop thinking about food. Think about food more, but think about healthy food. Think about how much you can nourish yourself. How many nutrients, micronutrients specifically, can you get into that body of yours? How much fiber can you consume in a day? How good can you feel? How much can you nourish yourself? I want you to think about food more. What's the most nourishing food you know about? What's the most nourishing food that you can make? How can you make it even easier to prepare? How can you enjoy it even more? So I'll go the opposite direction with that. The last thing in the world you want to do is try to stop thinking about food. Your subconscious mind doesn't understand negatives, right? So don't think about what I'm about to tell you. Don't think about a banana. Don't think about a yellow banana, right? What you thinking about? So that's that diet thing's built around that bullshit, right? You're going to not think about the wrong foods. Good luck. Good luck with that. So yeah, I'd keep thinking about food. I'd think about food even more. There it is. I was wondering where we get this question. How about water fasting? How about it? Water fasting. How about water fasting? I mean, if you love losing weight for a little bit and then putting it back on quickly, I think water fasting's for you. If you love the excitement of losing weight followed by the crushing disappointment of putting it all back on, then I think you should water fast. If you like to make yourself miserable by not eating anything, but then be excited because you lost some weight, but then be really depressed because you overate everything and put all the weight back on, then I think you should water fast. If you like to feel like you have no control over your weight and you want to do something extreme for a couple days, and then you want to put all the weight back on and feel even worse than you did before, I would suggest you water fast. If you want to train your body to hold on to every calorie you possibly can and to get obsessed with food every time you're around it so that you have no control over your eating, I'd suggest water fasting is a good strategy for that. LOL Bing Bing says, but I keep on being in a calorie surplus, although everything I ate is healthy and it stops me from losing the weight. Everything I ate is healthy is where my mind goes. Right when I see that everything I ate is healthy, I would dive into that. What's that mean? What's your diet consist of? What's the least healthy thing you're eating? When you say everything I ate is healthy. Like, I guess it's a binge eating where I can't stop when I'm not extremely stuffed, so I'm not losing weight. Yeah, but I would say, I would bet money, LL Bing Bing, that your whole, I would bet money at this. I could be totally wrong, but I would bet when you say everything I ate is healthy, that phrase jumps out at me and slaps me in the face. And I say, I don't believe that, is my first response. And I would love to hear, no, Jim, I've been eating salads and vegetables and fruit. Everything's whole natural foods. I've been practically a raw foodist. Yeah. You just say, remember when John thought he was having a healthy yogurt? This is right. This is every day. What people think is healthy and what is actually healthy is usually wildly different. I'm not saying that's you, LL Big Bang. I understand. I'm just saying that the norm when people say this, thank you. All right. So LL Big Bang says, I guess not. Okay. Then there we go. Right. And so this is what I mean. Listen, the very first thing you got to get through really to master your weight is to get through your own self-deception. And self-deception is the hardest deception to recognize because we're doing it to ourselves. And so, again, but the good news is that I'd rather recognize where the mistake is so I could fix it than to bullshit myself and say, I'm doing everything right. No matter what I do, I can't lose weight. I've never seen that to be the case. Is that possible? I mean, not according to the laws of thermodynamics, but I'm always willing to, believe maybe there's something out there, that causes people, although I have with my own eyeballs seen pictures of different famine situations throughout history. And one thing my eyeballs have never seen in those pictures is someone who's overweight. So not to be extreme, but I think we always got to get to the core that your weight's a reflection of the calorie consumption that you're averagely putting into your body. Carrie says, how did you deal with controlling your portion size? It's funny. I've gone through different strategies to control my portion size over the years. And, so I lead with what I do now more than what I did initially. But what did I do initially to control my portion sizes? Well, I've been structuring my eating for a long time, and that's always been a core philosophy. Because you can't structure your portion sizes if you can't control your portion sizes if you're not structuring your eating. Because if you don't structure your eating, you're just eating on a whim. And if you just eat on a whim, you're going to eat what's around when you're hungry. And when you eat what's around when you're hungry, you're going to overeat, not control your portion size. So even me, who I'm a master of my weight, I can't just eat intuitively. Oh, I'll just eat. I'll listen to my hunger. And then I'll just eat when I feel like eating. Yeah, you'll get hungry and you'll fucking eat everything that's around is what you'll do then. So yeah, nope, that ain't going to work. Oh, Jim, you don't know about intuitive eating. I want to bet. I don't think your intuitive eating is going to work at all, which is just, I'm pushing back against, you got to structure your eating. That's the one rule. I think there's no right or wrong when it comes to weight loss. There's only what works for you, except that you've got to structure your eating. I don't know how you could ever master your weight if you don't structure your eating. Don't see it. So, I structure my eating. That's a big part of how I control my portion sizes, but I also manage my state. I've done a lot of programming mental program, hypnotic programming, calming myself down, programming my subconscious mind to eat the right amount of food. And it's a process that's not just about knowing what to do, it's about practicing what to do. So I've been practicing for 3 decades of how to eat the right amount of food. And the biggest part of eating the right amount of food is to be calm and relaxed when you're eating. I want to go beyond just mindful. Obviously, being mindful is helpful, but you ain't gonna be fucking mindful. You know what I mean? Like Zen monks dedicate their entire lives to being mindful. It's so hard to be mindful that Zen monks give up absolutely everything in life and they live in the same outfit, the same clothes. They do the exact same thing every day in the same place. They do the same shit with the same people so that they can be mindful. That's how hard it is. So you, with your phone, with your screen, with your life, with your work, with your jobs, with your house, with all this stuff, you're not going to be fucking mindful. You're not going to be a mindful eater. No, you're not. So you got to train yourself to eat in a different way. And we could say it's mindful, but that's a real superficial phrase that really doesn't mean shit to you, honestly. And so I say that to you for anyone that tried mindful eating, it didn't work. Yeah, because you don't really even know what it means. There's so many like buzzwords. People say this all the time. Oh, mindful eating. You don't know what fucking mindful eating is. Oh, you got to change your lifestyle. You don't even know what a lifestyle is. You know, I've asked this question all the time. Tell me what a lifestyle is. And they don't really know. You got a gist idea what it means. Like, you got an idea, but you don't really know it. You can't define it. Mindset, same thing. I got to change my mindset. You don't know what your mindset is. I know you don't, because no one does. I've looked for it. Even the queen of mindset, Carol Dweck, not really impressed with that definition. I like it, but it's like, I think there's a lot more to it. So anyways, there's a lot of gist ideas people have about how to lose weight, but there's no real concrete specificity about how to make that happen. And you could throw mindful eating in there, lifestyle, mindset, intuitive eating, all bullshit. You don't really know what they mean. And we teach this in the program. We talk about this in a much more in-depth way. But yeah, so again, I wish I could give you a simpler, more direct explanation of how to control your portions, but that's literally how to master your weight. So it's a gigantic question, if that makes sense. It's like, how do I get healthy? You know, how do I, lose weight? How do I control my weight? How do I control my portions? Dive down into it and deal with that. He says, my starting point was pushing myself to fast 40 hours plus hours to overeating to 4,000 calories, all or nothing, to 43 days of PYT. And now I know I can live with all or something at age 80. Yeah, of course. Right. Yeah. He's a superstar anyways. I mean, he comes in the program again. My ideal clients, they've done lots of stuff. This isn't their first rodeo, in terms of weight loss. No one starts with Program Yourself Thin as their first approach to losing weight. You end up with Program Yourself Thin after you've tried all the diets for decades. You know what I mean? But he has so much wisdom, experience, and knowledge. And it's my favorite thing to be able to give someone who's in that situation the ability to utilize all that. And E, again, is doing the work and reaping the rewards of it. And it's exciting because it's kind of like the sum of the parts is greater than the whole. You know what I mean? So it's like when E comes to PYT and starts using it, she's making it better than PYT on its own. Do you understand? And I think that's important for everyone to recognize. PYT is kind of like it's a vehicle to help you be the best you. Like, it's not PYT in of itself that makes it work. It's you using this philosophy and these strategies and that techniques to make yourself a better version, to get the results you want to get using the strategies that work for you. And so E comes in here with lots and lots of wisdom and knowledge and strategies and uses Program Yourself Thin to really optimize all those so they work ideally for her in an optimal way. I hope that makes sense. Next week, I assume you won't be going live to be on vacation. Yes, correct. You'll be missed. I'll watch your previous lives. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, watch some previous lives. If you can do it, if you've been thinking about getting the program, because then you can listen to the sessions next week. How do you become live? That's a good question. How do you become live? I'm assuming that's a little bit of a typo or something. How do you become live? I'm not sure what that means. Yeah, Carrie says, this is my last, my mind. Very good, Carrie. I'm happy to hear that. All right. Very good. All right, everyone. I'm going to get out of here. I got a coaching call coming up. Because, one of the bonuses you get with Program Yourself Thin is there's a live class every Tuesday where we go through the core parts of the program. If you have any questions, you can ask them. And that's what we're going to be doing in 39 minutes. So I can't wait to do that because I got a good lesson planned for you guys. Sorry, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Again, if you're not in my world, follow me. If you're on a social media thing, follow me or watching this right now, and you don't follow me because when my videos might pop up. I just got a bunch of videos I did be popping out there. If you're not in my world on email, click the link in my bio and go get the hypnosis session I give you. It's free. Watch the video, read the emails, check out the cool free things I send you. Watch the podcast. Podcast is Program Yourself Thin. It's on all the podcast platforms, and we do it live every day, usually around noon Eastern. If you have any questions, get on here and ask them of me. And then, if you're really serious, get the program. And yeah, that's it. All right, everyone, have a super duper day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.